you start putting that in perspective, you go, oh, snap, my ego is completely out of control. And we all think, and especially men, we're guilty of this, especially when we're young and we're virile and we feel like we can conquer the world. We don't think our ego is running the show. And it is. And that's the first death that we really get to face. And when I say by death is we finally recognize, and I tell people this and all of our partners, and there's a famous quote from one of my partners, Aaron Huey. He says, look, he goes, Trav, at 52, I finally discovered I know Jack and I know.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. The first podcast that I came across to you was with what's his name, Bradley, the real Bradley.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was just blown away. And then I came across another podcast. I don't remember which one it was, but I was blown away again. So I'm excited to get to talk to you about some like mindset stuff and all of that good stuff.
Okay.
And I have some personal questions as well that
Sure.
I want to ask. But before we get into the podcast, I like to, like I've heard your story a couple of times, and I would like to tell you mine. Would that be good?
Sure.
Awesome, man. So let's see. I don't know if you can tell from how I speak, but I just learned how to speak English 3 years ago.
Oh shit! Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you, man. And like I'm Mexican. I was like born in not born, but like raised in Mexico.
Mhm.
I used to live in a border town with Mexico and the U.S. I went to school to the U.S. and so I learned how to understand English, but I never learned how to speak because there was no need to speak. Like I would literally ask my teachers a question in Spanish and then they would respond in English and everything was good. So like I never learned how to speak English.
Oh, your English is phenomenal. Holy shit.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Oh, I would have never known.
As well.
Huh. Good, because my Spanish is crap.
Cool.
Poquito.
Just nomás poquito.
Mm.
So yeah, man, I was raised in this border town, right? And like the environment there is not the best. But anyway, I say that I come from a generational cycle of mediocrity, drug addiction, alcoholism, and broken families, right? The reason that I say that is because my father was a drug addict, alcoholic, and he literally have like 8 or 9 different kids with 8 or 9 different women.
Wow.
So for like 20 years or more of his life, he threw 20 years or more of his life down the toilet due to drug addiction, alcoholism, and just like broken family after broken family. He did that. One of the reasons he did that is because his dad did exactly that. He was a drug addict, alcoholic. He went through life, like breaking families, and then his dad's dad did the same. And my dad abandoned me and my mom when I was like 1. So I was never with him. I never had a relationship with him, but I reconnected when I was 14 with him, and he gave me some advice. Right at 14 years of age, he said some advice based on all the fuck ups that he had, and he said that if you had a kid at a young age, no. He said that if you wanted to be successful, happy, and fulfilled, right? This SHF. If you wanted to be successful, happy, and fulfilled, you needed to become a gentleman. That's what he said. I have here Modern Gentleman and like the Gentleman SHF Talk podcast. He said that you needed to become a gentleman and you needed to focus on achieving true freedom. And he said that there were 4 freedoms that had to be achieved in a specific order. Physical freedom first, learning how to love yourself and take care of yourself first. Emotional freedom, right? Again, yourself, putting yourself first, figuring out who you are, what you want, where you're going, and mastering yourself. And then he said that once you had those 2 freedoms, you were going to have self-mastery. And that financial freedom was going to be pretty simple, right? And then now you spend the next 5-10 years working on those 3, you're going to end up pretty young with a lot of money, right? Really, really healthy and good looking and really confident about who you are and what you do and where you're going. Sure. And you're going to be missing one more thing. But at this point, you're going to be able to give yourself the opportunity to go and look for the woman that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, build a family with, and keep on growing your empire with. That's sentimental freedom, becoming a husband and a father, right? Sure. That's the order that things should happen. And he said that the reason why most men fuck up is because they do things backwards.
Yep.
Right? They're looking for this sense of significance, and to fill themselves up to fulfill this sense of significance, they go for this one first, the sentimental part, right? Like they get someone pregnant, they become a husband and a father. Now they got to provide. So now they spend all their time working to be able to like provide and make money. And because they're spending all their time working, they're neglecting their family, right? Their wife and their kids. They're neglecting themselves. They never get to find who they are, and like they usually don't work out or even pay attention to their health. So they end up fat, poor, ugly, alcoholic, drug addict, and divorced, right? So my dad did that, and then he did that mistake, and then he did it like 8 more times, right? Until he finally learned. And then that's the advice that he gave me when I was 14. Okay. And guess what? I didn't listen. Oh, right. From 14 to 18, man, I got sucked into my environment, right? I said right now my environment wasn't good. It could be an excuse, but I got sucked into my environment. And from 14 to 18, I was a drug addict, doing all kinds of drugs, partying, and an alcoholic. I had no vision, no goals, no purpose from 14 to 18. At 18, I got my girlfriend pregnant, right? And my mom had me at 15 years of age. And growing up, she told me a story. She said that if you have a kid at a young age, you're going to be a fuck up. You're not going to amount to anything great. You're going to fail, and you won't do anything with your life, right? This was the story that she told me. And well, I believed it, right? And like that story was true for her. Now I understand this. Sure. That's how she felt. So at 18, when I got my girlfriend pregnant, I was like scared. I didn't know what to do. And like me and my girlfriend decided to go with what seemed the easiest and fastest route at that time, which was abortion. So we Googled it. We Googled how to abort a baby. We came up with several methods, and we picked one. We picked the pill method, right? So, and then we went to Mexico, bought the pills. And my girlfriend, now wife, ended up taking like 40-some pills to abort. And on Google, it said that she was going to be in pain for like 2 nights and bleed everything out. That meant it had worked. She was in pain. She bled. It went exactly as we had read, and it worked, man. The abortion worked. 1 month went by, and she got her period just as she normally would, in the dates that she would normally get her period. So that meant that the abortion had worked. So we were like, holy shit, yeah. We were celebrating, right? Because, I mean, that's what we wanted. And it worked. Another month went by, and she didn't get her period. And we were like, holy shit, like, what's happening? We just went through an abortion. You're pregnant again. Like, we were confused. We didn't know what was happening. So we bought a test, and indeed, she was pregnant again, right? And we did the procedure again. She took more pills. She was in pain. She bled. And it worked, right? Another month went by. We were graduating from high school. My girlfriend at that time was wearing a tight dress. She didn't look pregnant. She didn't feel pregnant. Nobody knew that she was pregnant. We didn't know that she was pregnant because the abortion attempts had worked. And, we were graduating from high school. I was still that kid who had no goals, no purpose, no mission, just wanted to drink and party and do drugs. And then after graduating from high school, from 1 week to another, I became the father of a premature baby that was born at 5.5 months of gestation. Wow. Not 9 or 8 or 7 or 6, right? 5.5 months of gestation, man. That completely shattered me. It completely destroyed me, right? Like, it was really bad, right? Like all that guilt and shame that I went through, all that pain, because like I literally just tried to kill that baby, and like it turned out to be alive. It was like, oh man, it was really bad. So at that time, it was like the worst thing that had ever happened to me, right? But it turned out to be the best. It turned out to be the catalyst for my growth, the catalyst for finding out who I was, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and like for finding my purpose. Right. And like my baby is healthy. She's absolutely healthy and beautiful. Nothing is wrong with her. And like before, I didn't believe in God. But now, like, I don't know what else to call that other than a miracle, man. And that led me on a path of self-growth. I'm 21 right now. So like the past 3 years have been full of growth and just progress and becoming better and better. And now I'm like, I'm on a mission of starting a world movement, helping men become what I call modern gentlemen. And that's why I have this podcast. And that's why I interview men like you. Hope I qualify. So that's it, man. That's a hell of a story, man. Congratulations. Thanks, man. So now that we got that out of the way, I can go ahead and like, we can go ahead and dive into this. Let's see. I'm just trying. One quick question. Go ahead. What style of fighting did you study? Fighting? Yeah. Muay Thai. Why?
One fighter knows another, brother. I know how you move. I watched your hands. I can tell everything about you. I was like, okay, this guy's been, he's actually been he's been in the gladiator ring a few times. What style did you think? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Just checking.
Well, I've done boxing, and then I did I did
Yeah,
well,
I
I did Muay Thai
recognize.
recently. My knuckles? That's how you can tell?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
if you think, all of us have been there, all the partners in our company, all dragons, we're all martial artists. I hung up my belts 10 years ago, but we've all been there, done it. It's part of working through the anger, working through the frustration, trying to find out who you are, the rite of passage. There's all these things that go through that. Some people turn it into a career, but most people turn it into just to a rite of passage of understanding who you are, what your limits are, what you think your limits are, and what your real limits really are. So I just looked at it. I was like, cool, man, you've been there. For 21, you've packed a lot in.
Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for all of it, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
I've been recording, so we
Okay.
can like go ahead and start. Like I'll just like start my introduction, and then that will be like the official
Okay.
start.
Whenever you want to go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman's SHF Talk with Alex Ramirez. Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk with Alex Ramirez. Today, I have a very amazing guest, as always, and I'm very excited to get to talk to this man and get to call this work. And before I introduce him to you, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been leaving comments, reviews, likes on all the major podcasting platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, and to those of you who have been watching on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. And I just want to ask you, to subscribe if you haven't to the channel, so that you won't miss when we drop another life-changing episode. And I just want to ask everyone that if you take some value out of this interview, if you take something out of it, I want to ask you to share it with one friend. All right. And the reality is that most people never take the time to share, comment, review, or like. Actually, 95% of people never take the time to comment, share, like, or leave a review. But the 5% of you who do are the ones who make all the difference. And to you, I say thank you. So today I have Dr. Travis Fox. He has a doctorate in both psychology and clinical therapy. He started out on the PGA Tour. Is that right?
Yep.
PGA Tour. Yep. Creator of the first psychological golf infomercial of the Golf Channel. Continuing his career in film and television, winning over 30 awards, most notably an Emmy Award-winning producer. He's an Emmy Award-winning producer, and Dr. Travis Fox continued his career in front of audiences around the globe, all while expanding his entrepreneurial journey. So there's a lot that I could say, but instead of me saying it, I'm going to allow him to say it. So Travis, welcome, man. I'm very excited to have you here. I'm very grateful, and yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I appreciate it. Plus, I got to hear your story. Fantastic story, and I love how you've turned your life around. That's something that I admire in people. Something I think all of us somewhere down the road are going to go through one of those experiences, and what you do with it really kind of defines who you're going to be and what you're going to do. And I really was proud to hear that. So thanks for letting me be on the show, and thanks for letting me be a part. By the way, I love the title, Modern Gentleman. What a concept. What a freaking concept.
The Modern Gentleman. Yeah, there's some similar things going around. The way I came across this was by investing on those other things, right? There's like the lion, there's the warrior, there's the king, and like same message, different messenger. So yeah. And I get to give it my own twist and get to impact people. But man, one of the first things that I do with my guests is I tell them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
Oh God. I'm 51. I'm not as young as you, sir. So that might take more than 75 seconds, but I'll give it a go. How's that?
Go ahead.
I started my first entrepreneurial career journey at the age of 9 as a runway model for JCPenney's, which is how I got into entertainment. My first business, quote unquote, was at 13. I detailed cars so that I could go surfing and play golf. That was kind of my thing. And I started to learn how to do marketing, advertising, et cetera, et cetera. As you undoubtedly said in the beginning of your thing, my father born and bred me to be a professional golfer, and I turned pro when I was 19. I also became my first time father when I was 18. So that was a dualistic challenge. Did 6 months and became a head case, literally, and went back to the drawing board and said, well, now what? what do I do now? And so that's how I got into self-transformational business. And I really didn't get into business to help anybody else. I was all selfish back then. It was all about me and was self-centered, ego-centered. But it really became my path. Now, 31 years later, between film, television, anything we do here at the Quest, it's pretty much been that same quest for 31 years, just traveling the world, speaking on stages, inviting people to change their life from, just doing the same old thing, but really, we're in the business of igniting transformative change. And we do that through delivering, business basics, practical coaching, but we do it in a way that's presented in the immersive world of fantasy gameplay. And the whole reason of that is, and your story kind of parallels us, so I appreciate it. Too often we associate work with pain, and yet we try to make that pain passion. And then we try to turn that passion into purpose, and it falls apart. We end up having midlife crises, generally around 35 or 40, depending on your time sequencing. And then we start asking these questions: who am I? What's life really about, et cetera, et cetera. And that's all because it's missing the one theme: fun. Because when you're young, between the ages of 0 and call it 17 for a round number, our entire world is immersed in fun. It's all fun. Or athletics is fun, going to school is fun. And yeah, there's things and challenges we go through, but cut the crap. Even we heard it from our parents, hey, this is the time of your life. You only get to be a kid once, imagine, play, go outside. And we had no problem believing in playing. And we manifested in real time. But then we called it, playtime or imagination. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, and then like your story, just like mine, all of a sudden we graduate high school. And now it's like, okay, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Fox, now you need to be an adult. You need to figure out your entire life. What are you going to do at university? Are you going to get a job? And we have no playbook on how the hell to do that. So we get indoctrinated into this weird thing called the School of Hard Knocks. The problem with the School of Hard Knocks is it keeps knocking your ass down all the time. And yeah, well, you learn. The problem is the way that we learn through the School of Hard Knocks costs us the most valuable asset that we have, and that's time. And so our entire endeavor in self-transformation is to put business back into fun, put your body back into fun, and put your relationship back into fun. If it comes from the thematic of fun, and I'm not talking about, being just a jokester to be a jokester, I'm talking about making it truly fun. And remember that the ideology of life is you only go around once. No matter what your belief structure is, you're only going to go around once in this body. So enjoy it, have fun. But we've all been conditioned that work is pain and play is fun. But we have to work our asses off to go play. The problem is we spend so much time working, we rarely play, and you wake up and you're 70, 80 years old, ride's over. So the quest is all about making it all about fun and having a great time doing it.
That was amazing, man. A little bit more than 75 seconds.
Yeah, I know. I told you 51. I'm trying to slam it all in there.
But it was great, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I recently had an interview and I had this gentleman explain, or actually describe the human experience as a fun, playful, powerful, peaceful, joyful dance of life. That's what he said. So I'm like, I'm going back in my notes, and I just wanted to mention that really quick. But yeah, man, like we only get to go around once. Oh, that's crazy. I've been thinking about that really a lot. And actually there's like fear. There's fear, excitement around, like, I don't know what to feel. Like I'm going to die, man.
Are you?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, how should I feel about it?
Well, let's go the other way. Most people do this, and that's very common, right? And like the great Alan Watts, great philosopher and teacher said, life doesn't define death, death defines life. But what we happen is we get locked into the fear of death. We get the fear of, I don't know what's out there. I don't even know if I believe what I believe. Do I just believe that because it makes me feel better than not believing anything at all? I mean, and often, our belief structures about life and the afterlife are they're inherited. They're inherited by our parents. They're inherited by our culture. They're inherited by our religious indoctrination, but it doesn't mean that's what you actually believe. And when you go down to that place, it feels like going down to the dungeon of a castle. Like, what the hell's down there? I mean, that's where all the bad stuff is, the shame and the guilt and what happens if and da. Here's the problem. We end up actually being in death while we're living. Yet in the fear of death in and of itself, because we're so focused on what happens when we die. And I'm guilty of this too. When I was your age, my entire thought was, holy crap, I'm already 21. What the hell's going to go on? I'm like, whoa. Now I'm at 51 going, I actually just really got crystal clear on what it means to live out loud. And part of what that's about is to create a lifelong spark that never goes out. And that really is about shaking up your reality. Now, most of us are taught that shaking up our reality is a bad thing. You got to finally do it because you lost your job, or you got to, you've had a divorce. Now you got to change your reality. That's when you haven't changed your reality and you've been doing the same crap over and over again, and knowing that you're doing it, which is to me equally as powerful as any drug addiction that we could call ourselves addicted to, because we're doing it. We know that we're doing it and we still do it. That's addiction, boys and girls, any way you slice it. And then often we do it almost unconsciously. And that's what gets really scary, because we think, puns intended, that we're actually making, choices, when the reality is often we're making decisions. And if you don't know the difference between a decision and a choice, well, then you're subject to the whims of a madman, your own mind, because it's the one that's running this automated playbook that you think you're in control of. No, that's the first death that needs to occur. The death that you believe that your mind, your conscious mind, is actually running the show. It's not. But we think that because we think we're in control so much. And that's where the great illusion comes from. So if you're talking about facing death, maybe your call or your listener's call, face the death that maybe you're not as much control as you think you are. And thinking is the operative challenge. When you go back to the feel mechanism, that's why we always go back to fun. One, if it ain't fun, you ain't going to do it. I don't give a crap who you are. I don't care how much money they offer you, what sex it is, what all these great stuff. If it's not fun, you won't do it. And if you haven't been to that top of the mountain yet, where you've had all the things that you think are going to make you successful, then yeah, you're probably going to still chase it, and you probably need to have that experience. I did too. When I finally got there, I went, this is it. Okay, I got the houses, I got the cars, I got all the stuff. I'm bored out of my flipping mind. I'm bored. How the hell could you be bored, Travis? You have everything. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have everything, right? I can buy things and I can create things around me, but I don't have integrity in here. I didn't have the truth of what my castle wanted to be built, the legacy that I leave for my children and for the people that I've worked with over the years and for my partners. Also, too, let's be candid. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you've experienced it. Experiencing is the thing that is the most learned thing that we can do. For example, I can tell you a story about, hey, let's go to Africa. Let me tell you what it's like to hang out with the cheetahs and the lions and the water buffalo. And that's great. Who gives a flip? Until you actually go there, it doesn't mean anything. It's like describing sex to a virgin. It doesn't matter. You can describe it all you want, but it doesn't mean anything. So experience becomes the greatest teacher. So when we look at it from, well, why are you working your ass off? What is the point? Well, I want to make a better life for myself. There's no such thing as a better life. There's life, right? There's a life or death. There's nothing as better. What do I want to add to my life? Well, no, okay, I will qualify it from there. But we start saying things like, I want a better life. Subconsciously, that doesn't make sense. To a spiritual level, depending on whatever your spiritual level is, that doesn't make sense. Better than what? Well, better than I'm at now. Okay, fine. Now you're dead. Now what? Is life now good enough? And when you start putting that in perspective, you go, oh, snap. My ego is completely out of control. And we all think, and especially men, we're guilty of this, especially when we're young and we're virile and we feel like we can conquer the world. We don't think our ego is running the show. And it is. And that's the first death that we really get to face. And when I say by death is, we finally recognize, and I tell people this and all of our partners, and there's a famous quote from one of my partners, Aaron Huey. He says, look, he goes, Trav, at 52, I finally discovered I know jack and I know shit. That's all I know. Everything else, I'm learning. And he's a master, amazing teacher, one of the best teachers I've ever met in my entire life, who I love being on stage with and I love partnering with. And yet he says the same thing. And I've come to the same awareness of, I know jack and I know crap. Beyond that, I don't want to know that I know everything. I want to experience everything. And that's what the quest is about, is experiencing how to build a business, how to build your body, how to build your relationship. And they're done in very different quests. So that's not all lumped into ones that, oh, hey, Alex, go build your life, your relationship, make it all together. Because that's what everyone tries to do. And that's stupid. That's like being a well-rounded person. I don't like well-rounded people. You know why? They don't know shit. They haven't mastered anything. They're mentally masturbating. What I'm talking about is people who are laser focused on, this is what I want to master, whatever that is. I don't care if it's underwater basket weaving. I don't care if it's being a professional golfer or being a business person. It doesn't matter. But that focus is what makes you a master. And from that mastership, then you can branch out, because other things will come to you naturally, because you are a master of that, whatever it is, because you've done the time, you've done the work, you've put the effort in, and you have the passion, the spark that drives you, that keeps leading you and leading your organization to stay fueled and stay hungry. Because that's what happens is we get master of all these things, quote unquote, or jack of all trades. And we don't feel like we've done anything. We feel like we're just kind of going around on a circus wheel. And, well, I did this and I did that. And this really brings us to the final point. And that is, I think the word entrepreneur has been way overused and really kind of watered down, diluted, especially over the last decade with the onset of the internet and what it was doing as Internet 2.0. Is it possible that we're not entrepreneurs? We're just serial job holders. And we're all still running around looking for our passion. And my question will be this: where are you looking, and how the hell do you know when you find it? So if you look at that ideology, it puts you in a constant state of searching. That's the problem. And that's why we stay well-rounded, is we're searching, searching, searching. We don't even know what we want until it slaps us in the face. And half the time it slaps us in the face, we still don't know what we want. So the bottom line is, we need to come back for a second and go, what's the first death we need to experience? What's the first fight that our kingdom needs to conquer and expand? And that is that our ego, our conscious mind in and of itself, believes it's running the show, when statistically and scientifically we have proven now for the better part of a century that's not true. But if we don't teach people that in a fun way, it's like throwing a BB against a freight train. So bing, it'll bounce right off and they won't hear it until they're ready. So you've got to put it in a theme that makes it easy for everybody to experience. And you don't have to teach people how to have fun. Everybody knows how to have fun. You know how to do it. I know how to teach you how to have fun. Alex, you can drop right into fun instantaneously. You can't run out of it. You're already abundant. You're already wealthy. But our brain tells us that fun is not a wealth factor. I'll tell you that if you don't know how to have fun, you're poor ass broke. Simple.
Wait. What was the last part?
If you don't know how to have fun, then you're poor ass broke. And I don't mean necessarily monetarily. I mean that you're missing the entire experience. Let's go back to, and this is all based on your original point. Death. Death is imminent. Life is a choice. So you can spend your whole life, I'm mastering all this money, I'm a da-da-da. But if you're an asshole and you don't experience it and people don't want to be around you, now you know why it's lonely at the top. Because
so what is the difference?
Go ahead.
Between like decision and choice? Like what is the difference?
Sure. Decision is an automated process, meaning that it's already happened. Because most of our decisions have already come from our subconscious programming. For example, when I say, what's your favorite restaurant? You'd say
pizza.
Okay. The only way you could know that is you've already had experiences of food across the realm. This one happens to be pizza, and your subconscious couched from your emotional experience and your thought processing said, okay, subconscious, make a note. Pizza is one of our favorite things. Got it. So when I say, what's your favorite food? You're going to default to that automatically. You're going to go pizza, just like you did. That's a decision. We do that same thing in business too. We're like, oh, well, this is different. Show me how it's different. Tell me how it's different. Well, and they'll give me some, kind of hogwash answer. My point is, most of the things we do a day are decision automated processing. The way you brush your teeth, get up coffee in the morning, drive, go to the gym, whatever you do. We run in we call these routines. Now, those routines are great if they are driving you towards the outcome that you actually really want. Mm-hmm. More often than not, they're actually just another way for you to act like you're doing something so you feel better about getting closer to your outcome or your goal, when the reality check is we don't even really know what our outcome or goal is. I just want to be rich. Well, all right, here's $5. Now you're richer than you were 5 minutes ago. But is that what you meant? No, that's not what I meant. Well, then don't say it if you don't fucking mean it, because your subconscious takes it as literal. It's a big computer. So when we start programming our computers, we're so flippant. Example. If I did, any of your friends, your wife, anybody talk to you, Alex, the way you talk to you in your head, you'd have no friends. Same with me, because we're ruthless to ourselves and we don't pay attention that our thoughts, they're running around in that conscious mind of ours, which is really just filtering. That's all it's doing. It's filtering from our outside world. But what gets past that conscious guard and gets into our subconscious becomes real. No different than like in the Quest. The Quest has the ability and the power to level up your business and your life, bang, instantaneously. And it feels like a fantasy until it comes true. And that's how you know it's coming from a choice, because a choice comes from inside. You're present enough, you're conscious enough, you've gone from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence, where I'm choosing this because I want to experience X, and it's leading me to my outcome.
So I have an example. So right now, I was talking with my mom, and she's going to the beach this weekend, and I think I made a decision. I was like, oh, I want to go, and I was like, I got the phone, and I was like, Mom, do you have any space? Can I go? And then she's like, yes. And then so like that was like the decision, right? Mm-hmm. But then I went to eat. A couple of hours passed. Actually, tomorrow we're supposed to be leaving, but a couple of hours passed. That happened today. And like now I'm faced with the choice, and like now I don't know if I should go or not.
What do you mean you don't know if you don't know? Who else could know?
Like, because I mean, I don't know, because I made the decision, but now I'm faced with a choice and I'm a little bit confused.
Now, just by watching what you like your body language is doing, right? Your own body rapport, just the way you're couching your hands. I can tell that when you said you made a decision, you were talking about something you've done in the past. You're repeating the pattern. That's how we know it's a decision. And then when you're faced with a choice, you moved it into a different time space, which let you know that you get what? You get to be present, Alex. You get to choose right here, right now. Because the truth is, right here, right now, this conversation, you and I, is all that's happening in the universe between you and I. It's nothing. All what's going on in the rest of the world, all the tragedies and the crap that's going on means nothing in this moment. But that's not how we tend to consciously move, right? We tend to move from, well, I get there, I'll be happy, right? Or, when I finally get out of this place, then, I can drop all the crap. Okay, what does that have to do with this moment? And that's what choicing is becoming uber present of every little moment. An example, back in film and television, part of what I loved about it, what it's taught me and continues to teach me over the years, is that every single frame, every single thing you're doing, you've got to create it. Now, tell me the difference between a film and your life. I'll tell you, in a film, we're choosing. In most people's lives, they're decisions. They're just on automated pilot. And then we do these beautiful things to convince ourselves because we're all such good master hypnotists. I mean, we're masters, but we don't even know we're doing it. So that's like, that's like giving a child, a big explosive and saying, but don't light it. It might blow up. Well, the kid's going to go light it, blow themselves up. We do the same thing, but we do it subtly and we do it small. It's like literally building the bricks around the walls of your own prison and doing it going, oh, no, we're not building a prison. We're building a castle. Well, then how come you're standing inside the room and building the walls around you? How are you going to get out? Oh, by the time you realize that, often the walls are pretty high. There's no door, and now you're trapped. And that's why most of us spend a lot of time 3, 4 in the morning looking at the ceiling fan going, what if, what might be that? And I'm not saying, and don't be fooled, family, that I haven't done it too. Just because I teach this and been doing it for 3 decades doesn't mean I don't do it. The difference is when I do it, I see it, I can grab it, and I can pull it out of that automated decision realm and bring it back down to the choice and make a choice based on what I'm feeling right now. Does this feel aligned for me? Does it create the experience I want to create? And does this move me towards my outcome? Or am I just wasting more time? That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool.
So, man, so what is the difference between educating and learning?
Big, huge, perfect example. You graduated high school, yes?
Yeah.
Great. What did it do for you?
No, I guess
not jack shit. You're educated. You're educatedly intelligent, but we came out of high school, myself included, life stupid, because I hadn't learned anything yet. What we learned was how to take tests, regurgitate information we were told to, so that the tax dollars could continue to keep the school open. So we had a glorified babysitting system, and the teachers weren't even allowed to teach what they used to teach as learning. Example, when I went to high school, we had a little class called home economics. That class has been obliterated. Made no sense. I'm like, wait a minute. So we don't teach kids how to cook. We don't teach them how to buy a car, how to get their first apartment, understand what a lease actually is, what the commitment structure is. We don't teach any of that crap. But we say, okay, guess what, Mr. Ramirez, you are graduated high school. You are now educated. Go out in life and fuck it up. Good luck. Because that's exactly what it does. But you have this little piece of paper that says you've done the time, sir. And then you could take that piece of paper and you go try to get a job and they say, but you don't have any experience. Well, then what's the point of being educated then? It means I didn't learn jack shit. That's the problem with our education. I'm not disrespecting our teachers. I'm disrespecting the administration, who is archaic and is literally sitting on the Titanic thinking that the boat's not going to sink. That is arrogance of our educational systems. And here's the fundamental truth. I have 2 sons. One, neurotypical, went to high school just like every other kid, went to USC, got his master's degree, went to Georgetown, became a lawyer, etc. My other one is autistic, went to high school, same concept, came out, not a lawyer, obviously, and said they both said the same thing. I didn't learn anything. Where did they learn it? Oh, that's right. And that school of hard knocks that we just talked about a moment ago, which doesn't do anything, because by the time you learn it, you've already been 30, 40, 50, 60, whenever you learn it. And you may not even get into the right school. You might just get stuck into a job because you need something to pay the bills, because you got in the school of hard knocks, put you in a space, into a psychological prison when you were younger. Maybe it's having a kid, maybe didn't have enough money to go to university, whatever. Doesn't matter. The school of hard knocks is not the school we learn from. The way we've learned as human beings for the last 6 centuries, which was effective, was master, apprentice, master, apprentice. Pick an industry. Didn't matter. I didn't care if you were a warrior and a gladiator, you had someone teaching you how to fight so you didn't die in the damn ring. If you were a brickman, a mason, you had to learn. If you were a plumber, if you were a business person, you were a banker, you were taught by immersion into the experience. That's exactly what we teach on our and the quest is by fusing the fantastical with actionable experiences, you can actually empower people to finally abandon their doubts, their insecurities, their misconceptions, and they embark on this thing called a journey of possibility. But when we're in the school of hard knocks, nothing seems possible. It seems like we're just constantly going around trying. We're hustling, we're grinding, we're listening to all this shit on social media that has nothing to do with the truth. And we banging our head against the wall and expect it to become a door. It never becomes a door, and you get up with a headache, and you finally get into that space of, screw it, this is as good as it's going to get. I'm just going to be happy with what I've got, which is really you settling into the worst thing you could do and the most powerful drug you could ever get addicted to, and that is mediocrity. It is rampant on this planet, rampant. And oh, thank you. There the lights are. Perfect. Right. The problem with mediocrity is it's pervasive, right? It goes from generation to generation to generation. It's like this very silent killer. It kills you slowly, man. It kills you so slowly, you don't even notice it. All of a sudden you wake up, you're 30, 35, 40, and you're like, what the hell? I mean, I have my average house, I have my average, car, average. But if you notice, that's where we're conditioned to be. And that's the difference between education and learning. Education conditioned us all to be fucking mediocre and to settle in, be good little boys and girls, get your kids in your debt mortgage that you're in debt for 400 years, and it's indentured servitude. Nothing could be further from the truth of who you are. The problem is this thing, your brain, has been so programmed. You've literally been brainwashed. We all were brainwashed into believing that you need to fit in. Fit into what? You fit into that model. That model doesn't work. It does not grow humanity. It does not expand us as a species. It does not move us as a collective. And it damn sure does one thing. It continues a slavery that has been around way too long. At least through the internet, we have the ability to power that up. And now with Web 3.0, it's going to go to a different space. So education and learning is completely different. Yes, you are educatedly intelligent, sir. You have the piece of paper to prove you've done the hours. I've got tons of them. Guess what? It don't mean shit, right? You had to go learn. Like if I said to you right now, sir, I'd like you to go up and set up, I'd like you to set up a corporation. I want you to make sure that you understand your shares, you're authorized, you're issued, how your board's going to structure up. Most people are going to go, huh? Most, not all, most. That's terrible. We don't even know how to give people the opportunity to take advantage of the beautiful tax codes that they have in whatever country they're in. LLC, C Corp, S Corp, single proprietary, DBA, huh?
So right? Man, how do you use your emotional, like your emotions to learn better? Oh,
easy. Let me ask you a question. You ever had a feeling you're going to, let's say, a party or an event, and you have this heebie-jeebie feeling that says, we probably shouldn't go here. Something doesn't feel right. And you go anyways, and it turns into a cluster. That's how.
Now you feel stupid.
Hey, you feel stupid. And then we do the great thing. And then we reinforce it with this beautiful thing. We're back to being a hypnotist again. We hypnotize us to go, that was dumb, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. And we cuss ourselves out for not, wait for it, not listening to ourselves. Now, when you listen to that statement, I'm going to have a little fun with you guys psychologically. We're not listening to ourselves. That means there has to be two people in the conversation. The person that's saying, hey, stupid, you didn't listen to us. Well, who's the one talking to me? That means there's two of you. That's impossible. That means you're up here in your head, right? We're creating personalities, and our personalities show up. Well, we can go deep into personality theory, or we can make this fun in an archetypal way. So for example, if I said to you, Mr. Ramirez, why'd you buy your last car? You'd say,
because it's a truck.
Because it's a truck, probably look cool, got the job done, right?
Yeah.
So if I say, well, Mr. Ramirez, we can go through your personality parts and theories of why you did that, but it sounds like you're a warrior. Now, many people think that warrior means fight, that you're going to go out and fight, and you're going to gladiator ring, and you're going to, that's not what warrior means. Warrior actually means it's the heart of your castle. It's the heart of you. And so when you understand what a warrior actually means, if a warrior doesn't have a mission and a purpose, warriors go off and do stupid shit.
Yeah.
They get into sex, drugs, rock and roll is a very simple way to put it. Why? Because we don't have a purpose. We have to have a purpose for all of this training, for all of this passion, because the warriors and the knights of the ones of the realm that defended the castle were also the emissaries. They're the ones that went out in the battle to defend the realm or to expand the realm. And they trained for that very moment for the king to go, okay, warrior up, we're going to do this, or we're going to defend this, or we're going to expand that. They also were there to protect. Their heart, they're protectors. You're a natural protector. I can see it in your eyes. So when I start to say, well, that's great, Mr. Ramirez, now we know that you lean on the warrior archetype within yourself. But did you know that there's 16 other archetypes in you that you could develop to become the king and queen of your own life, and you could do it in a fun, fantastical way? You'd go, no. And I go, that's the difference between learning and the educational system that we all subscribe to.
So, man, you talked about like this voice.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a conversation with this very wise man who said that one of the things that has helped him have success, the success that he has, is listening to himself, right? Listening to his soul, his conscience, his chi, like whatever you want to call it, right?
Whatever you call it.
So like, and I know you know about this because I've heard you talk about this. So, man, I want to know, how can you tap into that and like use it and like use it and allow it to guide you, and how can you tap into it and actually listen to it?
Great question. So one of the things we added to the quest, the Ultimate Business Quest, is I brought and asked Sifu John Goff to come in, who's a Qigong master. And people are like, well, why did you bring, what does Qigong have to do with business? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you and your business separate? And they go, no. And I'm like, that's why, because there's this little motion. You mentioned it earlier. We have these experiences in our body. We call them emotions because that's what English calls it, right? But we have these feelings. Sometimes we can't tell the difference between feelings. Example, if you look at the chemical biochemistry of fear and excitement, they're identical inside your body. But our value system and how we judge it and categorize it changes it with one key element: breathing. Here's a perfect example. Fear is the emotion of excitement just without breathing.
Without breathing, yeah.
Literally, because when we get scared, what's the first thing we do? But we forget that when we do this and we stop breathing, moment of death, by the way, the subconscious is still recording everything that's happening in that experience. So if you walk into a boardroom and you've got to give your presentation, say, hi, my name is Alex Ramirez. I'm here to talk about the modern day gentleman, you know, and all of a sudden they all just look at you and you like, they stare at you. And all of a sudden you get anxiety. You start breathing a little heavier. Your breathing gets really shallow. Before you know it, you're having a full-on ass panic attack. The difference is, what if you walked in that exact same boardroom, but you had already learned what excitement is, and you learned how to manage your breathing, right? Now you can shift that, what you think is fear, and move it into excitement. Now it creates a totally different outcome. Your biochemistry changes. The subconscious conversation you're having with them and the board totally changes. And it starts with breathing. And we forget how often we don't breathe. I know that sounds trite. You're like, well, Travis, what does that have to do with business? I'm like, go look at your business and find out where your customers, your own internal staff, and you aren't breathing. I'll guarantee you that's exactly where your business is struggling, because we're not taking the time to go, And why, to your point, why did I go on that little tangent? Because if we're not breathing, we can't listen. Because the moment we go into our reptilian brain, we are dumb. We literally turn stupid because we are in survival mode. That's what that reptilian brain was designed for when we were getting chased by dinosaurs and saber-toothed tigers and shit that actually killed you. But nowadays, the shit that kills you is in our head. It's all in your brain. And our brain has made up these scenarios that 99.99% of the time never actually occur. But they do up here. And because biochemically, inside our body doesn't know the difference between a fear and excitement until we value judge it and we breathe into it. All of a sudden, guess what happens? We'll default to our limbic brain. And when we default to that, all that neocortex, all that intelligence that we've gathered goes right out the door. And you literally go into fight or flight. The problem is we tend to live in fight or flight most of the day. We live on it. How am I going to pay the bills? You know, is my significant other still love me? Am I in shape? Is my business doing good? How am I going to grow my customer base? What's my social media clout? Do I have enough followers? All this other crap that we fill our head with, it becomes impossible to listen to yourself. And what happens is we start hypnotizing ourselves to not trust ourselves. Now that's where it really gets fun, because that means there's a brain up here that goes, Alex, last time you didn't listen to us, you really messed that one up, bro. You need to don't listen to that gut instinct anymore. Don't trust those feelings, because we both know that's how you did that last time. And we do this in the most tangible place that we do this is in relationship. We do it in relationship. Here's the perfect example for all of you listening to Mr. Ramirez's show. You enter into the relationship with the ideology and the feeling of, I don't want to get hurt. That's how we start the relationship. And then we wonder why 6 months down the road, it goes to a shit in a handbasket and we're hurt again, because we walked into that not listening and not dealing with, looking down the dungeon of ourselves, that the hurt was what actually was driving it. And we're such good manifestors, but we think manifesting comes from a conscious perspective. It doesn't. It never has. It never will. It's scientifically proven our conscious mind only holds one thought per second. Our subconscious is translating information literally in the billions per second, way beyond what we could possibly think. Think about it. Who's running your body right now? Who's running mine? Well, shit, it isn't Travis and it isn't Alex. Hell, let's even be honest about that. We didn't even choose our own damn names. It was given to you by your parents. So was I. Oh, well, you're called Travis. Oh, okay. I guess I'm called Travis. That sounds like a great idea. And then we went and we go, well, but I'm in control of my life. I'm my own man. I'm like, bullshit. You didn't even choose your own name. What are you talking about? Let's own some stuff. Yeah. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
Breathing, right? What's next?
Fear is excitement without breathing. So that's the first thing. Learn to breathe. Second is, do you actually take the time to check in? Part of what we do in the quest is also the ultimate body quest. Our CEO, right? She's a full-time CEO, mother of two, literally as a winning competitor, and runs the company. Why? Because she checks in with her body through a thing that we brought.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to tell you that this podcast has completely changed my life in ways that you could never imagine, and I would like the same for you. Look, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and the fastest way for you to level yourself up in every area of your life is for you to connect with people who are where you want to be, build relationships with them, and connect with them. The best way for you to do that right now in the digital age is for you to start your own podcast. And I just wanted to let you know that I have a free training that you can get free access to. It's called the 30-day Net Worth Skyrocketing 3-step podcast cloak track framework. And it's going to show you how you can start and automate everything in your podcast, from finding your ideal guest, getting them on an interview with you, and creating an automated content machine in just 30 days. By executing on this free training, you're going to be able to connect with high-level people, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem, in just 30 days with less than 1 to 2 hours per week, so that you can increase your net worth, your authority, your trust, your client acquisition ability, and your opportunity. So there's a special link for this free training in the description of this video. Thank you for watching and tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
Brought into the realm and worked with Tom Twilliger, who is an amazing soul, Mr. America, competing Mr. Olympia, amazing gentleman, called Body Rapport. And people think body rapport means, oh, I know how I'm feeling. Well, Alex, that's not what we mean. I mean, can you literally go inside your body and focus on, for example, when we're working out, like you and I were talking about in the pre-interview, can you actually focus on that muscle? Because that's the difference between someone who's going to the gym to get social media and take a picture of like, yo, bro, I'm working out, check it out. And as someone who's actually mastering their body, master their body, that I can focus on this delt head, I can focus on this bicep. So every rep means something. Well, if it's your movie, which is your life, wouldn't every frame have meaning? How would you set the frame up? What would the camera do? Why would you be working out? What muscle are you focusing on? What do you want to show to yourself, even though you're the audience and you're the director? But we flippantly dismiss that. And so the second thing is to become really crystal clear what's going on in your body. We often ignore our instincts, especially around food, especially around business decisions, because all of a sudden we have a conflict of interest. Our emotions go, hell yeah, that's exciting. That feels like a great adventure. And then we talk ourselves out of it, only to come back around and go, damn it, I knew I should have gone on that thing, Alex. I should have bought that crypto. I should have invested in that company. I should have done it because look at it now. And everybody's got that damn war story, right? Oh, I could have bought Apple at $2. Well, why didn't you? Because you weren't up here. You weren't up here and you weren't listening. Fear is excitement, not breathing. Second, become very clued into your body. Your body is an amazing antenna. It picks up on things. And if you want to see it in a more finite scale, get out of your damn cubicle, get out of your house and go stare at nature. Because nature is all instinct, all of it, all of it. Everything in nature operates on instinct. It operates on the feeling. You don't see lions going, well, Alex, I'm kind of feeling like being a zebra today. I'm going to paint some stripes on myself and I'm going to just walk around. You don't see it. Only human beings question who we are. Why? It's because we were educated to believe that logic can outweigh our instincts. Now, I'm not saying there are times where you need to actually, sometimes we even talk ourselves off a cliff, where people get so excited and they get lost in something and they become hypnotized in that space and it becomes this addictive drug, right? Like drama kings, drama queens. And they're all out there. Yes, people, you listening, you're drama kings and queens too. And the fact that you haven't noticed that, you're still addicted. I know. I grew up in entertainment. I've been on stage most of my life. I was a drama king too. And drama doesn't mean that you're creating drama because you just like drama. You're creating drama because it feels good. It feels like you're doing something. It feels the energetic pop gets me out of this thought process that feels like crap. And we become addicted to that experience. And we don't even realize it. That's why and we've all had this. You've all met these people, male or female, doesn't matter, who no matter every time you talk to them, they always have some shit to talk about. Well, Alex, you don't understand. This week has been just the roughest week of my life. You don't do this, that the cat pissed on the dog and the dog freaked out and found a giraffe in the backyard. Oh my God, now I got a plumbing leak. And it's this drama. And you're going, take a breath. Hold on, I got to finish the story. No, slow down. No, I got to get this out. If I don't get this out, I'm going to blow up. Brother, you're blowing up right now. You're not seeing it. And that's what happens when we get into addiction. And any addiction, you're not aware of your own cognitive conscious. So start to become aware of where are you addicted? And we are. And I don't use that term lightly. And I don't mean disrespect people who have even deeper bona fide addictions to, the sex, drugs, or rock and roll, if I can kind of couch it there. I'm talking about the subtlety of addiction, the subtlety of addiction to failure, the subtlety of addiction to doing the same relationship structures over and over again, the subtlety of addiction to holding yourself back, thinking you're going to save it up for a rainy day, the addiction to drama, thinking that you're doing something when you're really just creating an experience to feel better. So those are the first couple of things you're going to look at, but you're going to have to do it in a way that's fun because your brain knows how you set it up. So it knows that, Alex, if we come at you and we talk about, you can list your goals, you're going to do all this other stuff. It goes, yeah, that's great, but I've already tried that. I'm going to block it out. We have to move you into the fantasy realm or what we call gameplay, because that's how we accelerate your learning, because that's how you actually learned as a kid. You learned athletics, not from, oh, well, let's sit down and get all the principles. Hey, let's go play soccer. Boom, here's the ball. Let's go. Your job is get it in that thing and get it there as fast as you can. And we did it. Then once we started to get the feeling that we want to focus on this and become a master of whatever that was, using this soccer as the example, then you can bring some of the more principal parts into the game. But until you get into that fantasy part of what did it feel like to climb a mountain or to surf the great wave or to build $1 billion company or to be the best mother or father you could ever be, you have got to get this high level of insight. And the best way we found in 31 years, 3 times around the globe, over 1 million people in front of my face personally, not including what my partners have done, it's fun. It's fun because you're already wealthy and fun. You can never, ever, ever run out of it. And that makes your kingdom wealthy, not your money, because money comes and goes. But fun is something that makes you wealthy. And when you move from wealth, you move differently. You drop in, you listen, you go, is this going to affect my fun, Alex? And I don't mean from a, well, if it's not fun, I'm talking about, does it really feel good? Often we get into situations where we cheat ourselves. We shave the edges around the corner. We make a square peg fit into a round hole because we're not willing, back to this again, to trust ourselves, trust our true gut instinct.
Travis, I think I feel like I can trust myself. Like I feel like I've been able to trust myself and like I can go through what I feel through instinct. And like the last 3 years of my life have been like effortless. Like it's just like going through, I don't know how to describe it, but it feels really good, right? It feels good. And
you just did. That's it. Does it feel good? Yes or no? They say yes, you go, stop. That's it. You don't have to justify it. We get to justify. Well, it feels good. Well, why? Because we're afraid if we tell other people we're happy, then they're going to get pissed off. I'm like, well, they get pissed off. I don't know, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to lower my happiness level to make you feel better because I'm too happy and you're going through a tough time. We all go through tough times, but you can still ask the same question. How do I make this fun? How can I make this fun?
One of the things I wanted to teach my daughter is that, right? How to deal with herself, how to trust herself, how to listen to that thing that she is carrying within. And like one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, man, is that I don't know if I should send my daughter to school or like send her to like some superhero school or something. I don't know. Right. Like somewhere that she can learn how to actually deal with herself and
Mhm.
like trust herself. Like, what's your take on that? What's your take? Did you
Oh,
send your kids to
that's the
school?
quest of my life. That is the legacy we're on, is to change our current educational system into a learning system. Learning means your daughter has key instincts already.
Yeah.
Meaning kids come in as masters, if I can kind of put it in that couch. They come in, they know how to play, they don't imagine, they feel their emotions and they stop. How do you know it? Your kids ever crying, all of a sudden you distract them, they can stop. So they know how to leave their emotions behind. We adults don't do that. We carry this
We get
shit for
stuck.
decades,
Yeah.
right? We get stuck. Oh God, right? We become self-help junkies. Even there's another addiction, right? I got to go to the next seminar. I'm like, well, whatever. You didn't learn from the last 29 you just went to, and now you're broke and you wonder why your business is better because you keep doing the same stupid shit. I'm like, stop. There's a bunch of other ways to do this and much more fun. But what if we took your daughter's experiential, so she learned how to learn and how she learns, right? And she learns to balance and trust herself. And part of what, I tripped and fell into this with my sons was all I kept going was, I don't know, your dad's still figuring this crap out too. Even though I teach it, even though I'm a part of it. Yes, I got all these letters before and after my name, but guess what? I'm still on the planet. So I'm still learning too, right? Like I said at the beginning of the interview, I know Jack and I know crap. That's about what I know. But what I focused on with them, which my father didn't do with me, was learn to trust you in stressful situations. So what does stress mean? Stress doesn't mean you have to go out there and, join the military and get in a gunfight, although that's noble. Don't get me wrong. It's a warrior's creed. However, stress could be making a financial decision, choosing to get married or not, choosing to start a family, choosing to buy a home. Those are all stressors that we don't couch as stress, but it's still cortisol released to our entire body. Our body responds identically. But learn to learn in those situations so she could trust herself, trust her instincts. And no matter what anybody else said to them, they could hold firm to their gut. Because at the end of the day, history has shown us, and you can read this all the way back as far as you want to go, that some of the greatest moments in history were defined and pivoted by a male or a female trusting their gut and going against all of the advice, going against what the grain was, and said, this is it. This is where we've got to go. You see it in war is one of the most popular places to see it, sadly, but true. Right? Business is another place you see, and we've all heard those stories, but you also see it in philanthropy. You see, like Gandhi's a perfect example. Here's a guy who was a lawyer, highly educated, knew the system, abandoned it all and said, time out. This is a much more noble cause. And when people looked at it first, they're like, are you out of your mind? He goes, maybe. But look what he did. His legacy is still going to this day. I mean, there are billions of people who are under the beautiful veil of freedom from what that country used to be, India, until Mr. Gandhi and all of his team came along. But he was fervent about holding to his principles. Because at the end of the day, and you know this, and we all know it instinctually, the only person you're going to answer to is you and your form of your deity, your God, however you define God. That's up to you. I'm not here to tell that. That's beyond my pay grade. But everything's spiritual. You are a spiritual being. So why isn't everything spiritual? Working out in the gym, make that a spiritual experience. Make it enjoyable. Not, oh, yeah, I have to go to the gym, Alex, because I've got to work out so I don't get fat. Did you actually hear what you just said to yourself? People talk like that all the time. I'm like, so it's a have to. Anything is a have to is an obligation. Obligations suck, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't get fat. So you're moving from a fear mechanism. So if you actually look and wonder why, then most people go to the gym and then they quit. It's because it's not fun. It doesn't have a passional sequence to it. It's not growing. So fun really becomes about, how do I make my life enjoyable? Because at the end of the day, brother, just like we did before we did this interview, we're only going to talk about our stories. We're going to talk about our experiences. We're going to share those things because no one gives a crap about your bank account, what car you drive, no one gives a shit. They care about, what were your experiences, man? How can I learn? Because that's how we learn as a species for the last 7,000 years, as we told stories around campfires from the elders telling the young. And we learned from the story, because the metaphor is the most powerful way to learn, because it immerses you into, here we go again, immerses you into the fantasy realm. The fantasy realm in simple language is your subconscious.
Cool. Awesome. Fantasy man. Okay, man. So one of the things that I want is, to like get my daughter to really exploit that one thing, right? That gift, that innate thing that comes with her, instead of having her learn all of this, like a bunch of things that she's never going to use and try to become good at everything. right? Find out what she's gifted at, right?
Yeah.
What she came here to do, and then just exploit that, right? So that like that's what I want to do. So what do you think about that? And do you have any advice on how I can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Immerse your child in everything. Let them
Okay.
experience it. Okay. Everyone's so focused on school, 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 school. We got to do school, then we got to do gymnastics, and then we got to do soccer. I'm like, you don't got to do jack squat. But what you could do is say, hey, what if we went out to one of the local parks, or you went out to, the Grand Canyon. I'm making something up here, right? And let her learn experientially. Kids have one of the most powerful tools that we as adults drive out of kids and drive out of ourselves. And that's curiosity.
Mm.
Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Curiosity got the cat to go out and explore. You're already dead anyways. So don't sit there and wait and think that your 9 lives is going to save your ass. It's not. So sitting there saying you're going to do that is what actually kills us. Curiosity is what got us to the moon. Curiosity is what made the internet right here that we're talking on. Curiosity is what made these handheld devices that were like doing Star Trek crap that 50 years ago, people were like, what the hell is Scotty talking on? What's that thing called? Well, now we do it every day and we don't think about it. So curiosity is being curious. Have her be curious. And when she goes experience martial arts, gymnastics, going out in nature, taking a walk, ask her, what's got your curiosity? What's grabbing your attention right now? And from what she starts to respond to you about, you're going to learn a couple things. One, what is her curiosity? How do you then help manifest it? How do you make her go deeper into that? Because she'll tell you. And two, you'll start to get her to evoke her observational skills. That's the key. Don't get hypnotized, because you can do it to yourself automatically. God bless you. Let the rest of the world do it to you. So get focused on, what are you curious about? I used to do this on the PGA Tour. This is what I did with all pros. I said, hey, you've played these courses 1,000 times, right? Oh, come on, cut the crap. You've hit more than 1 million golf balls. I know, I've done it too. On every single hole that you're walking down, you have to write down what grabbed your attention. What got you curious? Was it a house that you saw? Was it a person watching, following you? Was it a tree? Was it a cloud? Anything, it didn't matter, but they had to write it down while they're actually playing the tournament, and then give me the card afterwards. And we would discuss where their curiosity wandered and where they waned. And what it helped us is we learned how to get their mental focus down, so that when they got over the ball, they weren't exhausted mentally. Because most people play golf in reverse, right? They play between the shots and they go over the ball and they blank, and then the ball goes somewhere else. So we honed in, so they got over the ball, they were mentally fresh. They were curious. How do I make this ball go up there and turn and draw into a 3-yard draw to get 5 feet from the pin? How do I do that? Well, it's going to feel like this, bang. And they would do it. And as soon as the shot was over, they immediately went back into curiosity mode and looked at their environment. We don't get curious anymore. So really evoke her curiosity, experience art, theater, everything, and ask her, what's got your attention right now? What's drawing your curiosity? And sometimes she may say nothing. You say, okay, well, if you had to pick something, what would it be? And she'll innately go and tell you. She will. Okay. But develop the curiosity, because in that process, you will discover your epic self. And that's the key, discovering your epic self, because your epic self is where mediocrity finally gets beaten. The warrior in you steps up, the king or queen in you steps up and goes, we're done. We're no longer going to be mediocre anymore. I'm not talking about arrogance or bravado or anything. I'm talking about you truly start to say, well, you know what? No one said you had to sit there and go to school for 400 years. We never had school until 200 years ago. Cut the crap. We had villages, we had tribes, we had eldermen and elder women who taught. That was school. School became organized for a completely different reason and has become bastardized into this over glorified system that we're in. So manifest curiosity.
Cool.
Because curiosity is awesome.
Valuable, man.
Yeah.
My little brother, I'm like 8 years older than my little brother.
Okay.
And by reflecting, I can like see how his curiosity was just killed. Like when he was a little kid, he wanted to do everything, experience everything, ants, plans. He was like 7 years old when he asked for like a telescope, because for some reason he wanted to like see the stars. He wanted to find out but everything like that was killed. Yeah, in him. So
perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just like you said, for some reason, who cares? Are you curious about the stars? Perfecto. We're going to get you a telescope. And I want you then to start identifying all the constellations up there so I can learn from you. Well, the only way that they can teach, your little brother could teach you, is he had to learn. He had to go study. Well, what's the constellation Orion? What's happening with the Big Dipper? What does it look like? Guess what? When we become curious about something, the best way that we absorb it is we turn around and we teach it. Not from a teaching of expertise, We teach it so that we can translate the information, because then our brain naturally starts to organize it into a system that makes it efficient. Now that's where mastership comes in. And then you become a master.
I have one last question, man. What would you,
Yes, sir.
like, if you had 30 days to live, would you, like, what is it that you would be doing with your life right now? If you had 30 days
You're asking me my own question back to me? I've been teaching that question for 30 years. If you only had 30 days left to live, would you be doing anything you're doing right now? And the answer in my life is I'm doing exactly what I want for the first time in my life, in my relationship, in my business, my brothers and sisters in our company, and the people that we work with around the world, my own body. I'm in better shape now than I've ever been in my entire life, ever. But mentally, physically, and spiritually, I'm doing exactly what I want. Here's why. I finally realized at 50 years old, I'm on the back nine. I don't have time to fuck around. It's like, hey, I want to experience everything that I was too scared, too chicken, too arrogant, too prideful, too whatever when I was below 50. There's something that was liberating. Like my birthday gift to myself and to the board, I said to my board, I said, okay, I'm 50 now. My promise is I will not be the same man I was the first 49 years. And I'm only going to work with other masters because I can learn faster and I can experience all the things I want to experience, because now time has become the most important thing to me, because I know the clock's ticking. It doesn't mean I have a guarantee any more than you do, but I'm acutely aware of it and going, oh, whoa. I was arrogant with my time. When I was your age, I was way arrogant with my time. I was like, I got time. I'm only 21. I'm like, yeah, but do you? But we know that's not true. So for me, the first time in my life, my answer is I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm experiencing what I want to experience. And I love helping people grow their businesses and their lives. And we do it in such a fun way that's fun. I don't have to sit there in board meetings and yelling and screaming and all this other. It's much more fun. So for the first time, I've discovered my epic self. I freed myself from my own dungeon, did my own work down there, and it was made that fun too. And now becoming the king and queen of my own life, where I'm choosing my experiences, understanding that death comes knocking, non-negotiable, gonna come take you. Question is, did you really live? Regret is the only thing that's undoable in this life.
That's amazing, man.
Thanks,
I feel kind of the same way as well. I think I still have some things to work on, but I feel really good as well. And I actually finish every single interview with like 5 questions. Okay. And I didn't, because I was enjoying, like, I was just like fascinated by everything that you were,
Thanks, man. Saying. Thank you.
Like if you gotta stop, like, it's good. Otherwise, if you have more 5 minutes.
No, I'm good.
Awesome.
Let's go. Let's finish it.
So, what would be one piece of advice that you could give your 20-year-old self, if you could, like, not change anything or redo your life or anything like that? Just give your 20-year-old self some advice. What would that be?
Oh, simple. Follow your heart. Don't follow your head. I was Dr. Fox by the time I was 26, and I was conditioned, to what Dr. Fox was supposed to look like on television and film and all that other junk. I had to follow your heart, kid. Go experience. If you want to go climb a mountain, go climb the damn mountain. If you want to go surf, go surf. If you want to go live in another country for a couple months, do it. I was so busy, trying to be perfect and trying to fit into that world that I often listened to my head and didn't listen to my heart. And I had to wait till later in life until I finally went and experienced those things. So I would say follow your heart, man. It's never going to lead you wrong.
Cool. Awesome. Learning how to actually listen to your heart is another thing, right? Yeah.
Big time.
The second question is, what's a mindset shift that you can share that you've had that has allowed you to get to where you are right now in your life?
Oh, fundamentally that the process of how we shift our mind is what really changed my world. It really became the backbone of all the work that I do with my part of the company. And that is the sequence in which we learn mindset shifting is mind, body, spirit, in that order. Here's the problem. Mind can't solve itself. Like Einstein said, that which created the problem can't solve it. So asking your mind to change itself, conscious to conscious, is mental masturbation. So when I finally really dove into my own work and said, Travis, what are we actually teaching? What the hell are we doing here? When I really looked at the sequencing and I architected and looked down and I said, wait a minute, we all know it's an inside out job. We all know change comes from inside out, but we don't tell people how to do that. You got to find that through the School of Hard Knocks or some mysterious, you fell into a portal and it shows up one day. What if there's a blueprint? There's a blueprint for everything else in this life. Why isn't there a blueprint for how to create true bona fide change? And that's when I realized the sequence was different. The sequence actually comes from truly the emotion, or what's called thematics, or the theme. The theme then adjusts all of the emotional stuff and trauma that we need to clear out or align. Then the subconscious reorganizes itself into a new belief system and a hierarchical value system. And now my mind changes automatically how I see the world. Like the great Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, what you look at will change. That's an inside out sequence, but it doesn't tell you how to do it. The quest of my life in the architecture is this is how you do it. This at least is how I did it. And it's worked for all the students I've ever trained and the people that I work with, because it allows you to start with that, what you understand most, your feeling, your gut, your theme, and then work your way up.
Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome. Mindset, map, clarity. So, you know, we talked a lot about like, well, indirectly about like clarity and like following your gut and like, you know, like knowing what you want, who you are, all of that. So clarity, man, do you have any tool, insight, strategy, I don't know, whatever, that you can share that can help people be more clear about what they want, who they are, where they're going and all of that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean, in the simplest of language and sounding like shamelessly self-promoting, download the app and go on the adventure with us, and it'll happen all by itself because that's the way it's designed. But in the simplest of things, you know, it's really going to ask yourself this question, and that is, are you willing? Are you willing? Because this is an invitation from your own heart. You're going to have to check with yourself. Are you willing to go on the quest to rescue yourself from mediocrity? Because when you rescue yourself from mediocrity, the hero's journey that we all talk about happens innately. But the difference is you're consciously aware of where you are on the journey and you're choosing it, as opposed to falling into it and then quitting on yourself again, or falling in again and quit. So developing clarity, one, just like we talked about with your daughter, get really curious and get really crystal clear on curiosity and fall in love with curiosity. And through that curiosity, you will lead to fun. Because when we're curious, we're generally in an adventure. When we're in an adventure, it's powered by, fueled by, driven by fun, which means all that motivation, all that inspiration, all those things that you have to keep feeding yourself to get you go back out and do the crap that you hate to do every day stops. You become a natural dynamo. You're your own energy source. You're cranking. I'm at 51 right now. I have more energy than half the people your age, not because I'm dynamic and awesome. It's because I'm fueled by something like curiosity and fun. So when you get really crystal clear about your curiosity, you're on fire. You're on fire all the freaking time. And if you're on fire, man, you go, and it's infectious. And people go, damn, Alex, I want to hang out with you. You got that special something. Like, it's not special. You can have it too. And I'll show you exactly how to do it. And then there's 2 of you doing it, 4 of you. And it becomes, as you so eloquently said, it becomes a movement, right? It doesn't have to be, political or religious. It's just a movement of, what if we just want to experience life, right? Experience it fast, because if we don't, and those, like I said, those who are willing to embark on the quest, you're going to find out that blurring fantasy with reality is the #1 tool for stoking and firing that imagination and making your life have its own natural inspiration. And that, bang, is the impact you're looking for, because it happens naturally. You're generated naturally. You would know that as law of attraction, law of manifestation, or whatever word you want to couch on. Here's the science behind it. That's the truth. We're so busy trying to control reality, quote unquote, that we never realize that reality is a perceptually based thing anyways. So why not blur the damn line, get into fantasy, reorg it, and then guess what? Well, all of a sudden it feels like it's just a game. It feels like it's just playing. All of a sudden, bang, it's true out here. And then you realize now you're in natural alignment. You're in alignment with yourself and you're in alignment with the external.
That's amazing, man. So
Thanks.
I don't need motivation. I don't need motivation or energy or anything to like do what I do. And like, what I do seems like a lot for a lot of people, like waking up at 4 a.m., working out every single day. I'm just like having fun and doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't need motivation, or I don't need it. Like, I'm just being me. Is that clarity? Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And guess what? The more you focus on being, not doing you, being you, because you is this beautiful, transformative creature. Who you were just 3 years ago and the Mr. Ramirez that's talking to me are 2 totally different people. The Travis Fox of when I was 25 and now at 51, totally real. You wouldn't even recognize me. You'd go, who the hell's that guy? Right. And the difference is becoming crystal clear on being yourself. But most of the time, as you eloquently said about your little brother, curiosity is beaten out of us. Being an individual is being out of it. Exploration is being beaten out of us. All of those things are considered dreaming, bad. That's for the people over there. It's fringy. It's for the gypsies. It's for the nomads. I'm like, well, then why the hell did you work your ass off for 40 years so you can go travel for the rest of your life? Because you're doing the same damn thing. The problem is they're doing it now. You're banking on that you might get there. That's the difference.
You're hoping, right? So,
exactly. You're hoping. Well said, sir.
The next question is around motion. So what is one habit that you have that has contributed greatly to your success, man?
Oh, probably multiple. Let's see. I'd say the biggest habit is I pretty much live in passion. most of the time. I'm pretty on point with that. And that gotten me through some of the darkest times of my life. It's got me through, 6-month tours where you're not at home and you're just on the road and you feel like you're beaten up. But it's that passion. I love it. Look, I mean, let's be honest. My curiosity is people. What do they really want? What's the puzzle? I mean, our company is the human puzzle company. We help you find the 9 keys to life in the 9 different realms of humanity. Business is one of them. And so for me, it's the ultimate curiosity of going, okay, what does Mr. Ramirez really want? What's his value system? How's it going? Okay, great. All right, Mr. This is the map you just showed me. Does this look right to you? And then you'll look at it and you'll go, oh, hell no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And that doesn't work. I'm like, okay, great. So let's move this puzzle around. And how does that's it. Okay, boom. And we're on the quest. So for me, it's always about that passion and being tuned into it and not being afraid to be passionate. Example, real quick. Many of us are told, I know I was, so I'll just use myself as the example. Yeah, Travis, you're too intense. You're too passionate. I'm like, too intense for what? You who are mediocre and sitting on your ass, then deal with it, pal, because that's the problem. That's a wake-up call for you guys to get clarity that you're not passionate enough, right? For yourself, not for Travis Fox, because who gives a crap what Travis Fox thinks about your passion? That's between you and you. But if I'm too intense for you, that means your fire's not on fire. It's not, because fire goes, it works with itself. And so for me, it's always been about letting yourself be that passionate, letting yourself fall in love with your own life, letting yourself fall in love with those things, and then explore them. Don't just think about it, because that's a waste of time. That's mental masturbation. You've masturbated enough. We need to get moving now, and go experience it, and then be on fire. In everything that you do, you are the director of your life. Create the frame. What do you want the audience to experience? But remember, you're the audience. That's the best part. So you have a pretty good idea of what you want it to feel like. So create the frame, whether you're in the gym, whether you're in the boardroom, whether you're on a date, whether you're just walking around staring at the mountains. Be curious and create the frame. Because remember, someone's going to look at your life, especially with social media. We're all posting what we're doing every single freaking day. I don't care what you're eating at the current moment any more than probably else does, but tell me the experience about what you're eating. Now that's got my attention. That I'll watch. Otherwise, yeah, it's a steak. I got it. Right. But what about that? What was your curiosity? Why that one? And that allows us to learn about you.
That was amazing, man. I'm going to start. That was great. I'm just trying to process it. And actually, think of how I'm going to be implementing that from now on.
Sure.
So, cool. The last question is around tracking and measuring. Tracking and measuring. Tracking and measuring. I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. Tracking and measuring.
I think tracking and measuring is going to be 2 things, right? One, do you have the ability to track and measure what is my end result? Like, for example, I'll use Kilimanjaro. At Kilimanjaro, when I climbed Kilimanjaro, I was 48 years old, never climbed a mountain before in my life, didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I was invited, and my instinct said, go. Everyone else in my world, everyone said, Travis, you're going to die. It's the 7th tallest mountain in the world. It's 19,341 feet. What the frick are you doing? You're an ocean kid, dude. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm called to go. And I went, changed my life. But I knew what the outcome was. The outcome was you got to get up there and you got to get back down. Most of us are too busy focusing on got to get to the top. Yeah, well, guess what? You still have to get down, because at 19,341 feet, you die. It's too cold. You can't breathe. Your body atrophies. Okay. So for me, it was always tracking, how's my breathing? What do I feel like that day? Giving myself permission to feel what I feel that day. Because often there's times where we feel like crap and we push through it and we end up creating more crap. Done that 1,000 times. So tracking and analyzing isn't so much in dollars and cents. It's tracking and analyzing the experiences. Did I feel what I wanted to feel? Did I create what I wanted to create? What did I learn in that process about myself? What did I learn about myself that I didn't want to learn and I needed to learn anyways? And then ultimately, did I have fun doing it? And what makes it fun? So I track all those things by asking myself, constantly checking in throughout the day. Am I having fun right now? And if not, what will make it fun? And if it's not, if something that's completely and totally fun, not fun, I'll stop. I'll get up, I'll leave the meeting, say, you know what, guys, this meeting, I can't be here anymore. I got to go. And I've done this multiple times. People are like, are you nuts? I'm like, no, I'm not nuts. I just don't have time to sit there and bullshit myself anymore. I'm really good at that. And I don't want to be good at that anymore. I don't want to be good at that at all. And so tracking, I think sometimes is become too externalized, i.e. with all the data that we do now and what's my social media, what's my conversion rate, what's my one-time offer, and all this other data that we track. And that's great. But we forget that at the end of every single data piece that you track, there's a human being. There's a human being there. And if you're not jumping from that data point, which is cerebral mind, you're not jumping over that there's a human there, that you're going to connect with them somehow through your business, your product, your service, your experience, then guess what? You'll become dehumanized yourself. And then you will miss your own bloody life. And then you won't be able to track shit. You'll give me all the data, but I say, well, how to make you feel? Like, I don't know. You don't know? Well, okay. We'll ask you that question when you're on your deathbed. Maybe you'll know by then. And so it really kind of puts that in perspective. So track the experiences, track if you're having fun, and have the courage. Warriors, listen up. This is where that warrior creed comes in. If you don't have the courage to say, I'm not having fun, and remove yourself or change the experience, then stop bullshitting yourself on social media that you're a fucking warrior. You have no idea what a warrior is. A warrior is about heart. A warrior is about passion. A warrior is about the mission and understanding that you are a protector by nature. Protect yourself from your own mediocre mind that will tell you it's okay. You don't need to be that passionate today, Alex. Stop. Don't. That, my friends, is the road to mediocrity. It happens every single freaking time. It'll happen every single time you go down there, and you're going to do it 2 or 3 times anyway. So you know experientially how to track if you're headed down that road or you're headed to your fun road. And that really becomes the way I track things, is by asking those questions myself.
Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much for sharing all that wisdom.
Thanks, brother.
Man, if I want to learn more about you, and I actually,
thank you.
like a few minutes ago, I just noticed that you have all these awards. So like I wanna like learn more about you and just get to learn from you and like all the mindset stuff that you do and the hypnotic, yeah, all of that, man. I'm just like in love with that.
Thanks, man.
So if I want to learn more about you, where can I go? Where can I find more about you?
Yeah, first thing you do is just go to the ultimatebusinessquest.com, ultimatebusinessquest.com. First thing you're going to do is find out who you are. You're going to take our archetypal profile quiz. It's 10 questions, and your own subconscious is going to answer the truth, not who you think you are. Your real truth will show up. Are you a warrior, wizard, bard, and jester? How are you going to play the game of business? We're going to then download the app. It's right there on the website. Click the button, Google or Apple, it's there. You'll take it through. And the matter of fact, the new update is coming as we speak. And it's awesome because it's gamified, even better. And there's contests, and we really push you through this, but it seems like a game. Now, if you're not into your business and you want to do something else, you're working on your body, go to its twin, Ultimate Body Quest. You'll see the same ideology because we took the supplements that we actually use ourselves to grow our business and our life, and we brought them into the realm. And so go there, but start with the Ultimate Business Quest, download the app, improve your business today. And guess what? You're going to find that the Ultimate Business Quest is truly a gateway for unending achievement, because once you understand all of these skills that we're going to show them to you, and you're going to experience, you're going to go through this experientially in a very fun way, it applies everywhere. And now you're going to become the king and queen of your own life. And you're going to build a castle that you can leave a legacy to the people that are important to you. That's amazing. How you find us.
Awesome. So everyone, make sure and go, everyone listening, make sure and go follow Travis. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, to the YouTube channel, so that every time that we drop another life-changing episode, you get notified and that you don't miss it. And Travis, it was a pleasure talking to you, man. It was a pleasure learning from you and listening to like, your passion. So, yeah, man.
Bro. Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing your story with me too, by the way. I say this with the utmost of respect and not from an older man to a younger man. Really proud of you, man, because you could have not gone down the road that you're on. You couldn't have. But that makes you the leader, and that makes me curious about watching your life. And that's what social media, I believe, is going to make an interesting shift when people go to that space, just like you're doing. So congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms